Hello friends, today again I am before you with the model answer for yesterday's case study. Uh, we'll first discuss the case study and their model answer, and then for tomorrow we will have another theoretical question which will go ahead with that. So now first let us discuss the case study and its model answer. Now the case study which was given yesterday was, I will read it. You are managing director of a public sector pension fund. Recently, one of the companies you have heavily invested in has been exposed for human rights violation abroad. Pulling out investments now would incur heavy financial losses, while staying invested risks damaging public trust. What decision will you make? So this is the case study. So as a managing director, you have to take a call. Now, following the Kidder's dilemma paradigm and Potter box model, let us analyze this case study first, and then we will see what are the various steps which we can take up and how to justify following the ethical theories. So, first let us understand what are the ethical dilemmas. See, the first issue is financial duty to pensioners, because this is a fiduciary responsibility, trusteeship responsibility given as a managing director. You have the pensioners fund, so the responsibility towards them is quite important. So financial duty to pensioners versus ethical responsibility to uphold human rights. So this is first dilemma. Now second is short-term financial prudence versus long-term institutional credibility, because institutional credibility is also at risk now. Now, who are the stakeholders involved? See, first is pensioners dependent on stable returns. Anyway, pensioners are stakeholders. Then citizens and taxpayers expecting ethical governance from the government officers. Then victims of human rights violations, they are also the stakeholders. Then public institutions credibility, because this firm which you are leading, pension fund, this institution's credibility is also at risk. And then fourth is regulatory authorities and government oversight bodies. So these are the stakeholders involved. Now, what should be the approach to ethical decision making? First step has to be taken is immediate engagement and accountability. So you have to seek formal explanation from the company and demand verifiable corrective action plan addressing human rights violation. So this is first step. Second step is conditional investment continuation. So first is you will engage with the company, ask their what are the corrective action plans which they have, and then you will say, yes, okay, you implement that corrective action plan and my investment continuation will be conditional to that. So announce a time-bound conditional retention of investment contingent upon concrete independently audited reforms. So conditional investment continuation. This is second step. Third step is phased and responsible exit plan. So, but simultaneously, you should also prepare the exit plan. Suppose the reforms which they have promised fail, or the corrective action which they have promised they are not going to take up in a time-bound manner. So then you should have some plan B to withdraw that funds and invest somewhere else. So simultaneously prepare for a gradual disinvestment if reforms are inadequate, minimizing the shocks to pensioners while upholding ethical standards. So phased and responsible exit plan is third step. Now, fourth step, transparency and public communication. See, whatever you have got the information and whatever steps you are taking should be in a very transparent, done in a very transparent manner. And it should be informed to the public in a very transparent manner. So, issue a clear public statement outlining the ethical review process, decisions taken, and future safeguards to preserve trust and demonstrate accountability. So transparency and public communication is again very important. Now, fifth step will be structural reforms. See, this one problem you have faced. Now, similar subsequent problems you do not face. For that, what are the reformative measures you are going to take? So, embedded environmental, social, and governance norms into the fund's investment policy to guide future investments ethically and systematically. So, structural reforms for guiding future investments so that in future this kind of problem does not come. Now, these steps, 5 steps you will take. Now, what are the justifications? Now, we have to justify these on basis of some ethical principles. So now let us see that, because this also ethical principles needs to be mentioned very clearly in your answer. So first is deontological duty. Deontology of Kant, Immanuel Kant, you know, public funds must not knowingly support rights violation. So this is, basically it should support correct duty, whatever is the duty. So duty-based ethics from Immanuel Kant, deontological duty is first support for this 5-step process. Second is consequentialist ethics from Bentham and Mill. Protect pensioner security while mitigating ethical risks. Third is virtue ethics of Aristotle. Demonstrate integrity, transparency, and responsible stewardship. Then public trust and legitimacy. This is again an important principle which should guide any civil servant when he is dealing with public funds. So public trust and legitimacy, upholding human rights, strengthens institutional credibility and long-term financial sustainability. Then constitutional alignment. So constitutional morality is again another thing which supports this decision. Governance must reflect the spirit of justice, dignity, and equality embedded in the Indian Constitution. So justice, dignity, and equality. Now, what is conclusion? Fiduciary responsibility is not merely financial. Anyway, it's financial, but it is also moral trust. It should be handled in a very ethical manner. So ethical governance demands balancing financial prudence with unwavering commitment to human dignity and public accountability. So this is very important conclusion. Ethical governance demands balancing financial prudence with unwavering commitment to human dignity and public accountability. So this completes our 250-word answer for the yesterday's case study. Now we will see the question which we are going to take up tomorrow. So this is the question, theoretical question, of course. A public servant must rise above identity politics to serve the constitution, not a constituency. Discuss the importance of impartiality and neutrality in upholding democratic values and delivering equitable governance in India. So this needs to be answered in 150 words. I will read it once again. A public servant must rise above identity politics to serve the constituency, not a constituency. To serve the constitution, not a constituency. Discuss the importance of impartiality and neutrality in upholding democratic values and delivering equitable governance in India. Now, model answer for this question will be given tomorrow. We'll discuss that tomorrow. This is the question for today. In fact, as I told earlier also, daily we are having this process of either one theoretical question or case study. And by October end, we will be completing 100 theoretical questions, 100 case studies. And we will be selecting the questions and case studies in such a way that, almost whole syllabus is covered, number one. And number two, particularly basing on previous years questions, last few years questions, recent years questions, the formatting of the questions will be in such a way that it can become most probable questions also. So this is what I want to say. Now we'll meet again tomorrow with the model answer for the theoretical question which I have given today. Now thanks a lot for watching today's video. Thank you.